Welcome to Business Influencers. My name is Chris Salem, your host of Business Influencers with TALRadio. Again, you found us here at TALRadio. Again, we are committed each and every week from bringing you subject matter experts to share their words of wisdom and insights to take your level of influence and business to the next level. We want to thank you all listeners each and every week for joining us. And again, thank you for sharing the show. As we continue to grow, we want to make sure that we're bringing more content that's going to help move your level of influence in business to where it requires to go. We welcome your feedback, so feel free to reach out to us at chris@christophersalem.com. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types, an opportunity to meet new people for the first time or rekindle any old relationships back from your college days. This is a membership program, meaning that it takes all the noise out of social media. There's no notifications and things that can kind of distract you. This is a time where you can come in and generate genuine and authentic relationships and connections with people that you're looking to talk and communicate with. If you'd like some more information about this program and membership program, feel free to reach out to Alumni Direct at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we're going to be talking about wants versus needs selling. And I love this particular topic. And you're going to be in a treat today because we have Peter Collins with us. And, many times people, especially sales professionals, get caught up in the needs versus the wants. And Peter is going to debunk and share with you this lack of understanding how important wants are when it comes to selling. And I'm going to give you some information about this gentleman who has been involved in the sales profession for many years. His sales career is spanning more than 56 years. Peter has focused on helping and bringing out the best in others. He has only worked for 2 multinational and yet achieved 3 Hall of Fame inductions in both twice and with 1. He is a sales strategist who has worked also involved in specialized sales development and consulting, plus sales process and evaluation to the corporate sector, SMEs, and has given his time freely to charities, church groups, and associations. As a marketer, Peter has worked with award-winning Australian board international marketer Bob Pritchard, who consults to 83 Fortune 500 companies. Peter works with Bob, included sales process creation, copywriting, Yellow Pages advertising creator, copywriting, and the development execution of specialist marketing seminars. And, the list goes on. And Peter has built a reputation as a nationally published author since 1970 and an internationally published author since the 1980s, and has over 140 books to his credit, of which 70 are business books. And he has sold over 2.5 million books to date. Peter is mainly known for one book based on the audio tape series of the same name, Over 50 Ways of Closing the Sale. And he has also had over 4,000 articles published in newspapers, magazines, circulars, and more recently in various forms of social media. He's appeared on television, radio, and video, and has worked as a seminar presenter, corporate trainer, keynote speaker since 1977. He's also spoken at the NSW Parliament House and the Great Hall Parliament House, Canberra, on the number of occasions. And without further ado, we welcome Peter Collins to the show. Peter, how you doing today?
I hope I can live up to that, Chris. Thank you very much for the wonderful bio.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You bring so much wisdom, and especially in this world that, where sales, is evolving. There's all this technology and all the things that are happening, to help sales professionals really raise their level of game. But when it comes down to, being a professional salesperson and really perfecting the craft of sales, it always comes back down to the basics. And there is no better person than someone like you who has got almost 60 years experience in this particular area. And I know you're going to be bringing a lot of wisdom here when it comes to wants-based selling. Can we talk a little bit about first what the difference is between, in this case, needs versus wants or wants versus needs?
That, I think, is extremely simple if you just narrow it down to the income level. Those that actually sell based on wants earn a heck of a lot more money. Those that sell on needs end up creating problems and roadblocks, and that hampers them the ability of actually earning good money.
Wow, that's definitely a great. Now, Peter, explain why do you think sales organizations or any sales group of any company or any type of business, why do they get caught up with needs over wants?
I've got to be careful how I say this, but look, over the years, and I've been in sales long enough to see different things develop, and I stopped teaching on the basis of need selling probably 35, 40 years ago. And I've been concentrating on want selling in my seminars. Now, the people that complete the seminars based on want selling outsell every other group by a long shot. And the reason for it, many years ago, people were employing others that couldn't sell and putting them up as trainers because they didn't want to take the best salespeople off the road to train newbies. So they left it to somebody that was nearly qualified, nearly a salesperson, nearly capable of actually doing the job. And they've been teaching what they knew. And they were taught need selling to start with. They've passed it on, but nobody ever questions why they're still selling needs. Now, the one thing that I've always tried to do with people is I try and debunk, I try and get rid of the untruths, and I try and get rid of the misconceptions that are in the industry because of needs selling. It's that bad. It literally takes people to a different level. And I think best way I can describe it, I have a former mentor. He's passed away now, but probably 20, 25 years ago, a guy called Brian Price. And he had a coined saying, needs selling is nice, but wants selling is where the money is.
So
And
let's dive into wants. Like, you talked about, you distinguished the difference between wants versus needs when it comes to sales. But let's tie this back a little deeper for the audience and those listening later about, how this again will bring in more revenue for any size business.
Okay. Look, I think the best way of bringing this in is most selling is based around perceptions. It's also based around a lot of hearsay, and there's a lot of ignorance involved in perception and hearsay. It's that simple. Now, the one thing that, I'll actually go to three different things here. The best salespeople earn the most money. Fact. The second thing is the best salespeople are the ones on top of the ratings. They're always at the top of the group. And the third thing is the best salespeople encourage and receive the most referrals. And if you're working off referrals, you're working at a totally different level to everybody else, because so many people I know want to go into sales. And I know some guys that have been in sales for 50 years, but they won't take on a sales job without somebody providing the leads. Now, the issue with somebody providing the leads is your leads are only as good as a lead maker.
Yeah.
So if the lead maker has a 20 or 30% conversion rate from gathering the information and then making the lead, guess what your closing rate's going to be? That too will be 20 or 30%.
Yeah.
You won't get too many lead makers doing 30 and 40%, but the professionals do it naturally. Now, over the years, because I want to make my own leads, my closing rate for round about 4 decades now, pretty close to, has been 92% on the first call.
Wow.
Now, that's a little different to 20 or 30%.
Huge difference.
I work less. I actually work with the prospect a lot more to bring them into being a client. If they're a client, I elevate that level of being a client. And at each point, the prospect wins. because the better I sell, the better I actually convert to what the prospect wants. Now, do you want
Wow.
me to expand on wants?
Yes, please do. I would love it. You've given so much golden nuggets already. I love to keep expanding to solidify the importance of this for these anybody that's listening right now that's in sales or any organizations where it is built around their sales strategy and sales group.
Look, I think I want to bring this up because I think this is important. Wants selling is so far apart from needs selling that most salespeople don't get it. Now, when you sell what the prospect wants, you actually do very well. And you're both on the same page. You're both in the same form of synergy. But if you start selling based on needs, a lot of people can hear what you're saying and find it to be offensive.
Mm.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes. I mean, again, they because again, you're talking to somebody, that's the person. So they personally feel something that doesn't sit right with them.
Well, nobody wants to be told about what they should do, especially in their own business.
Yeah, they
And
want to
when you,
buy, but they never want to be sold.
not only that, they don't want to be conversed. And that's where the offense comes in,
Yeah.
because you're becoming manipulative.
Yeah.
You're forcing the issue. You're telling them what they should be doing in their idea of business, in the way they run the company, the way they run the team, etc. Whoever you're dealing with, you don't want to overstep the mark.
Mm.
And needs selling will do that to you every time, because you need to justify the need. How can you justify the need when you don't know the want?
Yeah.
And that's always been the case with so many people in sales.
Wow. That's so great. I mean, so Peter, what would you suggest? I mean, you're giving some great information. You're creating awareness. Do you feel like that's where it starts? Obviously, it's the awareness, but not just one time. You got to really plant the seed, because it's like with anything. When we have these habits or things that we've done that have been hardwired into us, and we know it, but if they don't serve us, they don't take us to the next level. It's just hard sometimes to break those patterns. So it's like we got to make these changes over time. So is it a pattern of continuous awareness, or frequent awareness, but now working with them slowly to break this pattern of gravitating towards needs and now making that conscious effort to focus on wants?
I think it goes deeper than that, Chris, because what you've got three levels of salespeople.
Yeah.
You've got the professionals, and a lot of people will call these the super professionals. They're so far ahead of the race, it's not funny. The way they think, the way they act, the way they sell is miles adrift from everybody else. You've then got the ordinary salespeople. Well, ordinary is ordinary. I don't care where you go. And they're following the follower. They're not following the leader, they're following the follower, because that's how the sales industry developed. And the third is those on the periphery that are following the follower, but they're not making money.
Yeah.
And the reason for them leaving the industry is because the money isn't there. Now, if you're making good money, no matter what you do, you'll stay in the industry.
Yeah.
Engineers stay engineers because they're good at what they're doing and they follow the trend. Mechanics is the same. Get a bad mechanic, you don't go back again.
No.
Get a good mechanic, you don't want to get rid of them. So it doesn't matter what the industry is. If you're good at what you do and you can convey what you're doing, everybody benefits.
Yeah. That's so true.
Now, if you're in sales and not getting the financial benefit, and you're not spending the time to find out why things are not working in your favor, you're going to be frustrated. And the more frustrated you get, the more you're going to walk away from the industry. Now, if you're a single person, you'll stay there longer because you can put up with the lack of income. But if you've got a family to feed, you've got bills to pay, you've got school fees, you've got all sorts of things which are holding you to ransom, and I think that's the right word. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to look at better ways of earning the income you and your family want from you.
Yeah, that's true. So true. And I know you've been doing this a long time, Peter. You've done this through a lot of training and working with organizations and one-on-one and so on. You know, I guess people have different personality types. Do you ever see like that, you know, overall, is this something like it might differ based upon different people's personality types in terms of making these changes, you know, shifting away from needs to now adopting the wants to focus on that effort?
I'll tell you where I've had the hardest problem of any type of industry, and that's in the corporates. The corporates get their people get paid very well, but they don't have to perform at the same level smaller industries have to, or individuals.
Where it looks like most of the money they make is based upon what they generate in production versus, you know, because the salary won't be the same as they are in a small business, or, you know, that's so true.
So what actually happens whenever I've gone and trained corporates, and I've done that for most of my life, I learned very early in the piece that I need to spend time to actually talk to those people individually before I do a session. Now, I may do 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of training, but unless I've got them on site to start with, guess what happens? I now have to overcome hurdles, and I'm better doing that one-on-one. I also find out from whoever's holding the training, like the sales manager, sales director, or whatever, who the troublemakers are. And then that way I can both address the troublemaker personally one-on-one. And if they do play up in the training, I just have to turn around and say, well, I thank you for your input, but this may be something that you and I and the sales director need to discuss together. Guess what happens? They stop being a nuisance straight away because they know that they're now in a loop, or can be in a loop, that's going to suggest that they may not be doing what they should. Now, people are troublemakers for a number of reasons. First reason is ego. I'm the best in the company. Nobody's going to tell me how to sell. We've all heard this before. Or I'm one of the rising stars, and I've got there by doing things my way. I'm not going to be taught a different way of doing things. There's so many different things that start to happen because it's a mindset that starts getting in the way of reality. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, don't share it with everybody else. These people will get somebody's ear and they'll talk and talk to try and convince them to improve to doing things their way.
Yeah.
Not the correct way. So there's a lot of different, I think, challenges that everybody in sales faces, especially when it comes to understanding the concept of training. But let's get back to wants and needs. You only sell on the basis of needs when somebody tells you what you need. Now, think about this for a minute, because if you've gone to a doctor, what's the doctor going to tell you? What you need, not what you want. They're terrific at listening to issues, but when they give you a solution, it's all based on needs.
Yeah. It's never
It is. And this is why people have that problem or that challenge of actually going out there and telling the doctor everything that the doctor wants to know. Because all they're going to do is get feedback based on what the doctor believes you need. Now, the one thing that I've finally given in on, and it's taken me decades to do this, is I take 9 tablets a day. It's not what I want, but if I don't, my body reacts the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. So
So
it's something that that's a fact, and your body, no matter, even though you don't want that, it's just the body, that's in order to function properly, that's what it requires.
Well, as you age, things basically start to fall apart.
I'm starting to feel it. I'm 56. I'm starting to feel it.
Chris, nothing's fallen off.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, that was my line. You
I
stole
know.
it from me. But that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And you grow to accept the dimension of what you can't do compared to what you were able to do. I couldn't run a marathon today, but I did half marathons for quite some time. But I've got the excuse that I can say I was younger then.
Yeah, there you go.
And we all have the same excuse. So when it comes to selling, there is no age barrier. I've seen people come into sales at the age of 70 and sell up a storm.
Mm.
Now, the problem here in Australia, I don't know what happens around the world, but here in Australia, you can't get public liability insurance once you get to 67.
Mm.
It's a cutoff. But we've also got a government saying, you're part of the older generation, you should work till you're 80. Well, if you're working in sales, guess what's going to happen? Nobody's going to give you the opportunity because they won't get the insurance.
Mm.
And with public liability, if something goes wrong, there's somebody going to have to pay the bill. So there's some of the realities that you need to face. But bringing this whole concept back to what really works in the marketplace is once selling. People want what they want, and the smart salesperson gives them what they want. It's not an issue of, well, we've got some hurdles to overcome. For the time being, I'll give you what you need. No. You start down that track, you're not going to close as many sales.
Mm.
And the other thing, which is more important, you're not going to be able to work referrals. Now, I'll tell you how important referrals are. It's a no-cost way of growing any sales business.
Hey, I agree. No better way.
Yep, there's no cost. But let me tell you something else. People don't realize how you can take referrals and expand on them. I once broke an international record of selling 39 sales in a row. I was going for 40. I blew the last one.
You brought me tired. It was like running a half marathon at that point.
It was. But I didn't make one appointment. Every one of those appointments was made for me by the person I just sold to.
Mm.
Now, there's a secret as to how you work the referrals while you're on the call. A lot of people will say, which is the best person here that I should contact? Because they believe that's the way that they should work. Well, I'm going to tell you, you've got it wrong. If you go for who they think is the best, you're going to be struggling because it's their opinion based on who you should contact. But if you ask about the second one in their list, you'll find that person is usually more suited to making an appointment and wanting to buy.
Yeah.
Bypass the first, go for the second, and then say, well, look, I need you to help me. I'd love to make the appointment, but you know this person better than I do. You know that if you introduce me, it's going to be better for you and it's going to be better for me. So what happens? They actually start the call. And once they've got the person interested, I ask for the phone. And I finish off making the appointment because I need to make it at a time that suits me.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I'm shooting blind.
Yeah.
And I've used that concept for about 30 or 40 years. Now, most of my selling is referrals.
Yeah.
It's better, it's cheaper, and the conversion rates are better. And you know the best part? I get more and more referrals by working referrals.
Well, that's just it. You do. And as long as you deliver and do a great job, it more comes. It could be, some of these people could keep referring, and as long as that, you're servicing and you have the right resources and systems in place to fulfill their wants, like you said, like you were talking about. So it's so true. Peter, I know we got about another, couple minutes left in the show. I wanted, we're going to have you back on again, because we're going to have a round 2 about wants versus needs selling. And I know a lot of people are going to be anticipating that. This is just to kind of lay the land, set the foundation, get people to really start understanding this. Anything that you would like to kind of conclude with, because I want to let people know where to find you, how to reach out about, because I know you have a gold mine of videos and programs that you have to share to the sales world. But anything you'd like to conclude what you've shared here today with the audience and those listening later?
Chris, I think the easiest way to conclude for me is to provide you with a way of making contact with me through my website. My website is the largest sales website in the world, not by a little, but by far. It's got thousands of videos, thousands of audios on it. In fact, it's got, I think it's 11 pages or 11 different channels of information. So nobody else has provided what I've provided for free.
I've gotten a taste of it. It's a lot of quality information. This is a lot of golden nuggets that if people really get serious about the sales profession, it's right there if they take advantage of it, right on your website. And it's just a matter of taking action and finding out more information about it.
Well, Chris, it's full of articles, it's full of videos, it's full of podcasts, it's full of other forms of information. And right now, I'm for the very first time putting together sales training lessons. And I'm doing that at a very economical level, at prices that nobody's ever put on the marketplace. Where have you seen something for $120 or $150, which goes for 3.5 hours?
Oh yeah, no, not anyway. You're gonna get more. I know this is just your way of creating a legacy and giving back. And we highlight. And I'm going to wait till you finish, because we got another minute left, and I want to conclude to really drive this home for what you're doing for people. But anything else do you like to conclude here in the next 30 seconds?
Chris, the ultimate story here is not what you can provide, not what I can provide, but what they're expecting themselves to learn and to grow from. Because if your expectations are high, everything works in your favor. If your expectations are average, the results are average. Yeah. And most people don't strive for the higher self.
Yeah. They settle for the mediocrity. So true. I know we're gonna have you back on for another round in this particular area. Peter, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day here to be with us here at Business Influencers. Thank you so much. And I know I can't wait to have you back on for the audience coming back. We'll probably do that in another month or so, have you back on and really, tie everything together from here. And I know you have a wealth of other information that we can have on even other future shows here at Business Influencers, but did want to extend again our gratitude and thankfulness for being here from everybody here at TALRadio and the Touch of Life Foundation.
Thank you for the opportunity here, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week for joining us here at Business Influencers. Again, this show would not be where it's at because of you, and we are here for you. We're here to be bringing people like Peter that share their words of wisdom because they care. They operate from shared values. They're looking to give back, and they're looking to help you, to help yourself take your game your influence, your business to the next level. It's up to you, and that's what we inspire here. We're not here to convince or persuade. We're here to influence and empower you to make that decision for yourself to move forward. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next week. Have a great day.